Welcome in one and all to our nightly stream called Pillow Talk. I'm Pugs Moran. It's called Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Sorry about that. Let's bring in Parker right now. Why not? It's James Parker. Hi, James.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good, but it has been an absolutely insane evening thus far around these parts.
Oh, you got a police scanner going.
Yeah, I am Mr. Police Scanner.
I recognize a good police scanner.
Oh, dude, I am a police scanner nerd. I have all of the alerts. I am told when more than 2,000 people gather for one scanner at a time. Earlier this evening, James, we did a special breaking news. There was a manhunt in Marion County, West Virginia. There was a big shootout on the expressway, and the police were pursuing, and two guys bailed. They shot one, they airlifted him out, and another guy was running along the river there. And so we broke in and we did a whole thing. By the way, if you had joined us for that earlier this evening, around 7 o'clock or so, I think we were following it. They caught the guy. Remember the dude they were chasing after? And we had the maps up and we were looking along the river and seeing where they were, cordoning off the area.
Well, where's he supposed to go? Like that seems like a mission impossible if you're on the run in the West Virginia forest.
Yeah, he did. They had him pinned in, man. I mean, they had the streets and the bridges he was in the river. That was the exciting thing, is that when he went in the river and the cops were like, he's in the river. It was very exciting. So I was monitoring that. And while I was monitoring that ended probably about, 40 minutes ago or so. When that one ended, I immediately got another alert on my scanner that there was a scanner that was climbing the charts. And that's how you know when something is happening, when thousands and thousands of people all of a sudden tune into one scanner. That means something's happening. And James, what we're listening to right now, what's happening as we speak.
Would you like to bring in our guest?
Yeah, I was going to save that for a second. We're just doing a little bit of a setup. What we have here, this was posted at 7:44. A house exploded in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. It is in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. The pictures from the scene. Dude, this is amazing. There are people, a bunch of people are dead. It is just flattened this entire residential neighborhood. Unbelievable. Okay, yes. Now let's, I'm going to get off this because I can follow it here on the hashtag that I've been following, so we don't need to do that anymore. It is a Thursday night. That means we've got a special guest here on the Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. James, do the honors.
It's Rebecca Pratt. Welcome, Rebecca.
We got back for another Thursday. It's our old pal, Rebecca.
Well, Rebecca's got stories now because Rebecca had a date night last night.
Well, now, Rebecca, I know that you and James are good friends and you go back quite a bit. I hope you don't, aren't upset that he's spilling the tea on you last night. He's like, Becca's out on a date. We had questions, but now you're here, so we don't need questions. James said, go ahead, James, take the lead. I'm going to have a drink and I'm going to keep monitoring the house that exploded in Pennsylvania.
How'd your date go? How'd your date go?
Fine. Kind of. I'm looking for work. So,
well, hang on. How do those Venn diagrams overlap? Date and work.
I know what I'm thinking.
I know what I'm thinking, Rebecca. Mm-hmm. Are we thinking right?
Yeah, I'm not. But that's what I've been doing. You asked how my day was going, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, you got paid for your date last night?
No.
Okay, no, that's what it sounded like.
That is what
I'm not doing.
That's what it sounded like, though. Okay.
Hey, hold on, guys. Let me break it down for you. What I heard, and I was looking at the Pottstown hashtag, what I heard was, how was your date? The response was, I'm looking for work. And that's when I went, this is suddenly more interesting than the house that exploded. So forgive us for being a bit confused. That was a tiny bit convoluted there, the way the answer played out. And yes, Al, this is a Han Solo shirt that I'm wearing. Han is peeking out from
The date went all right. It happened to be went out to dinner at my favorite restaurant here in the city of New Orleans, and so that was great.
Name drop it.
Oh,
Dickie Brennan's.
You did Dickie Brennan's Steakhouse.
Man, that place is so good. That's probably my favorite place in New Orleans too.
Rebecca, can I get you to do me a favor? Can you bring it any way possible? Bring your mic up just a little bit. I'm having a little trouble getting you at a good level.
Well, if I had a mic, I would try to turn it up. I think I do, but I'd have to leave for a second and then go get it.
We'll make it work. Don't you worry.
Yeah, why hook up a mic when you're going to be on a radio show? Yeah, that's
well. But it was a really it was. I mean, I love eating there, and I mean the date was all right. I'll explain.
Please do.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been on this show a few times, but I've never told anyone I'm transgender. You could probably tell by my voice.
You don't say. Yeah.
I don't use a fake voice, but I always dated girls and women my whole life, and I've been very fortunate. But I've always done this too. And now I'm at a point where I'm doing this, and we'll see what happens. But since I've been doing this and living like this, only guys seem to be interested. And so I'm attracted to women. I've always been. I love women. You can't change that. But it's weird going out with dudes. That's probably been the strangest part of this whole thing here. But I mean, it's great walking into my favorite restaurant in the city, and you know, it's a fairly expensive place too. I mean, it's fantastic.
It's ragingly expensive, yes.
But I mean, I said yes to go because I'm living like this now, and it's better than being alone. And heck yeah, I'll go to my favorite restaurant with you. And the conversation was great and everything was great. But then it came to after the date. And that's where I have a tough time. At least I do right now. You know, with the guy wanting, you know, maybe to make out or whatever. I'm still, that's kind of tough. But the date was great.
James, how are we going to do this?
Okay, so no.
We both have questions.
Yeah, well, but I mean, let's just go through it. So you're saying like after Dickie Brennan's, what did he do? He asked you for to go somewhere for a drink, or Dixie Divas? Did he ask you to go to? Because that's like 2 blocks away. Dixie Divas is a tranny bar, Pugs.
We did go to this. We did just go to this neighborhood place for a drink after, and that was it.
Any place I know? It wasn't like Cajun Mike's or something, was it?
No, it was just a little place in the quarter. You know Aaron Rose. I
do. I got a matchbook from them in my studio right now. But yeah, that's like 2 blocks away from Dickie Brennan's. And then how?
Just had a drink after that, and then came home. But you know, like I mentioned, when it's time, you know, when people go on a date, there's a time in the date where
the proposition happens.
Something's supposed to happen.
Did you get asked? Did he ask you home? Did he ask you to come back to his place, or if he could come up to your place? Was the offer on the table and you turned it down, or what?
Well, yeah.
Or did y'all have more of a conversation about it and you're like, I don't know if I'm ready to take this next step?
No, I didn't say that. But when it was that time of the night to, you know, saying goodbye and, you know, hey, I'll call you again, or, you know, we'll go out again. When when two people usually kiss. I don't know.
Did you even kiss? Did you do nothing?
A peck.
What a bad day. You're supposed to give it up.
Wait, peck with lips or peck on the cheek, lip to lip peck? What kind of peck?
Just a little peck on the lips.
All right, that's fine. I kiss.
All right. So the offer was on the table. That is a big step because you haven't done that, right? You've like kissed a dude once and that's it.
Yeah, like I said, I've been with women my whole life.
So is this your first, since this latest incarnation, is this your first date with a dude?
No, I've gone on a few dates.
Oh, you just don't tell me about those, huh?
No, I've gone on a few dates, but that one thing that I just mentioned happens every date.
Mm-hmm.
You know, could have a good time, whatever the case would be. Then it comes time to,
Why don't you mention these other dates? Are you hiding? I mean, are you like ashamed of it to tell me, or just yeah?
No. I mean, like I said, I dated women my whole life. This is something new because I'm living like this now, and I mean, it's wild. But
are you worried that I'm judging you right now? Because like you're doing stuff with dudes, and I think that's gross.
No.
I think I might be making him a little nervous, making her a little nervous. I think that you and Rebecca have a long relationship, and I'm sort of the weirdo, right? I'm the guy that it stands to reason. But you don't know me that well, Rebecca. But between James and I would be the one that would be considered the respectful one.
That's bad news, isn't it?
Well, no. James, do you mind? I have a couple of questions that I would like to, because this is interesting.
Wait, hang on. Do I know this dude?
Okay.
No.
Okay. Go ahead, Pugs.
Okay, hold on. I am having some issues here with. Let me bring that down a little. Rebecca, can you count to 5, please?
1, 2.
You sound fine.
3.
Yeah, Rebecca's audio's a good level, just a little echoey.
Yeah.
5.
Okay. So, Rebecca, as you have revealed, you are. What is the proper way to think of you? Someone like my middle-aged heterosexual man in his 50s, new world unfurling before me. I'm trying to keep up with it. I'm trying to be as respectful and accepting of everyone. I'm a progressive guy. How do I think of you now? You said are you a trans woman first and foremost? Is that how I would?
Yeah, that's how I would be defined at this point. And that's how you should think of me.
So as a trans woman, you are orientation wise, formerly a straight man.
Yes.
Your orientation is that you are not gay. You are a trans woman, but you are not a gay man.
No, I never was.
Okay. So you find yourself now in this conundrum where you are living your best life, as the kids say, and you are now out in the world as a trans woman. Now, I theorized last night, the very small, we weren't talking behind your back or anything, but the very small, James brought it up that you had a date. And I said that would make you a trans lesbian orientation-wise. Is that a thing?
Yeah, if I went out with a woman.
Okay. But because of your new lifestyle, you have found that the only people that seem to be interested in taking you out are men. So you're forced to sort of make some interesting new choices for you, ones that you are not naturally orientated to. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So would you then in some way, shape, or form, just as a human being, not as a man, not as a biological man, not as a trans woman, would you consider yourself then sexually fluid at this point, open to whatever presents itself?
Perhaps.
Okay. So I mean, this has got to be.
Like I said, I've gone on a few dates with dudes. And by the way, the reason I did is because it makes me feel pretty good when a when a guy meets me someplace, whether it's in a bar or outside or online, and he likes what he sees, and he asks me out. I mean, and these guys, they're straight dudes.
Right.
You know, gay guys are not attracted to me. You know, gay guys like guys who look like guys.
I understand that completely, because we are talking about the ego. We are talking about the self-esteem. And I myself, back when Kelly and I, my partner, that we used to do radio here in Dallas, we were massively popular among the Dallas gay community. They loved us. They loved us. And I found myself all the time being approached, propositioned, and hit on by gay men. And even though I am a heterosexual guy, I was flattered. I mean, there wasn't this thing where I'm like, because I'm not Brad Pitt. I don't walk into a room and every woman looks at me. But
No, that's cool. That's
Yes.
cool. That's cool that gay guys are hitting on you, but don't let that go to your head.
Well, but what I'm saying is to try and compare that to the experience that you're having now.
Yes.
It feels good. It's just, irregardless of whatever your orientation is, you can sort of take that into your own self-esteem and build on it, and it makes you feel good. People were like, "That gay dude, would he just give you your number?" Like, we used to do this thing. James, you remember we would do the gay pub crawls where we'd go to all the gay bars and all that stuff. And like, "That dude just gave you my number." I'd have friends say it. I'd be like, "Yeah, that's pretty awesome." You know, people, a lot of more macho guys, a lot of more. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with who I am.
No, the best is like when someone buys you a drink, you're like, really? This is what it's like? This is great.
You like me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, we're not doing anything, but oh my God, thank you.
They're so nice because like
Yeah.
trying to objectify a man is like trying to drown a fish. You know, they're like, "Do you work out?" And you're like, "Yeah, I live somewhere. I'm glad you noticed. Like, I put a lot of work into this. This is great."
It's very interesting, this sort of metamorphosis that you're going through, Rebecca. But it's also interesting just when you remove all of the labels and the tags. You know, you're dealing with. You said yourself, nobody wants to be alone, and it feels nice to know that people want to be in your company. So that is something that I can completely understand, and I think everybody else can as well.
Hey, Stephen Ray in the chat room asked me, "Would you ever date a trans man?"
Pugs, go to the chat frame over there and do that thing where you pop it up on the screen.
Isn't it up on the screen?
Well, you know what I mean. You know how it highlights one if you click on it?
No.
Yeah, under the chat screen, just double click one of those comments and it'll put it down as a lower third.
To answer your question, Stephen, if a trans man who was cool asked me out, I'd probably go out with him. I mean, I'm single, you know, sure.
Like, how many could there possibly be out there, though? A trans man that is into a trans woman.
I know, that's pretty wild.
Well, because the perfect thing, like your unicorn that you're looking for, is a hot chick that's just into a trans woman. So it would be like a sort of lesbian, but a lesbian that likes wieners.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
and I've had girlfriends in the past. Some were cooler with this than others because I've been dealing with this my whole life, and I during the long-term relationships I've had with women, attractive women too. They were all fairly cool with this. Some cooler than others, but
I find that interesting. You say you've been dealing with this your entire life. So this is something that, when did you first, when did this first sort of pop up in your life? What age are we talking about?
Well, I was a little kid. I was like 6 or 7 years old, putting my mother's lipstick on. She always kept a big, huge container of her makeup in the family bathroom. And for whatever reason, I was just drawn to it. I don't know why.
And what is the reason for the shift? Has it been this climate of the last few years where the trans lifestyle is more culturally, socially acceptable? Is that what made you finally feel comfortable, or was it just, would you have anyway?
Perhaps you're right. But I'm getting older, and you know,
be happy.
Time's running out, and it's like, you know, if this is what I wanted to do this a long time ago, and I actually did for a little while, a couple of different times, but for different reasons, I wasn't able to keep.
No, actually, for the same reason, is because you got the next big radio job. And so you had to take off the wig, put on boy clothes, and go be John again. And that's what happened both times when you had your shot to do it.
Yeah. So now I'm doing it, and it's been going well. Like I've got a documentary that we're trying to get into these film festivals about me being trans. So I've got some things going on, but I'm looking for my first job.
Well, let me ask you
Like
that.
this.
Is that a line of inquiry that we're comfortable discussing? Because do we tell people what you used to do, or what kind of work you're looking for? Because I have some questions along those lines. If that's something you're comfortable talking about, is that something that's dealt with in your documentary?
I don't mind. I mean, but I hope there's a few other things you want to talk about tonight, because there's some stuff going on.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm comfortable going anywhere that James wants to go. James, take it from here.
Is there a second date coming up?
I'm not sure. I'll tell you if I get the phone call.
Not sure. Okay, let me ask you this then. Why didn't you come out when we were working together, man? I told you should have come out when we were at iHeart. This could have been such a good bit.
Yeah,
and people would have thought you were.
I think so too.
People would have thought we were doing a bit for a month before they finally caught on that Rebecca's real and it's not a bit. Like, that's just would have been so fun. Why didn't you do that?
I guess I just didn't want to mix my work with this.
They wouldn't have been able to fire you. They wouldn't have been able to cut you, for cutbacks or whatever the reasons were. I don't pretend to know.
Bro, we'd have a Netflix show by now.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd have been indemnified.
Yeah.
iHeart. Okay. My last question, and because I do apologize, but these are all very interesting, things. And I think that this is a great opportunity that we have someone that we're comfortable talking with who is openly discussing this now. A lot of people, this is an issue that a lot of people are, screaming at each other about these days. And now I have an opportunity, and James has an opportunity to actually speak to someone like a human being, instead of just putting up all of these labels. So my question to you would be this. You worked in broadcasting, and you kept this part of your life a secret, and you've got a documentary coming out about all of this. Does the documentary cover your work in the broadcast or the media industry?
Yeah.
It does. Okay, I think that's a great angle. I hate to think I know it's your life, and here I am thinking about angles, right? No disrespect intended. Was it because I listened to you. James got me interested in what you were doing, because I've always been a follower of James, and he started with my show, so I've always taken an interest in his career. And I'm wondering, was your reluctance to embrace this side of yourself publicly with your audience, did it have anything to do with the format of radio that you were doing? A fear that possibly the listener that you were targeting might not accept it? Did that play into it?
Yeah, I sure. I mean, this that I'm proud of. People tell me I should be. Some people do.
Yeah.
But this isn't something I ever wanted to share with the audience. I never even thought about it.
I almost wish I had something like that. You're right, James. James and I have talked about it. It's like, man, this dude, that Rebecca should be on 1,000 stations nationwide in 2022. This is like a thing.
People see my air check, and I might as well just title it another just basic middle-aged white guy.
Yeah,
right. That's all I got going. Nothing.
I mean, for us, it's a gimmick. For you, it's your life. So I do understand that. And
man, ride this wave though. Damn it! You should have played that card at Bayou. You should have played it at WWL. You should have played at WRNO. We would be out of here. Our career would be out. We'd be in New York City right now.
How are they going to get rid of you? How they got to do budget cutbacks? They got to let a show go.
They couldn't promote her fast enough. No,
right, man. I'm telling you, Jagger is a great example of this. I love Chris Jagger.
Do you know the Jagger story? Because that's a great comparison, Pugs. That's a good point.
Yeah, are you familiar with Chris Jagger at all?
No.
Okay, Chris Jagger was an extremely popular music morning person here in Dallas, and he came out of the closet, and it shocked everyone because he was a guy's guy, big dude, good-looking dude, funny, for all intents and purposes, he was the
He's a
playboy.
masculine dude. You couldn't tell.
Very well, as my partner Kelly used to call him, worst gay dude ever. Because he had none of the things that gay guys are supposed to have, which is the well-kept appearance. And he was in shape, and he was a big man, and he was a very attractive man. He used to host that TV show back in the 80s.
Like, not Blind Date, Change of Heart.
Change of Heart. Yeah, he was on Fox Television from coast to coast back in the mid-90s.
Remember that dating game on Fox, Change Your Heart? Change of Heart.
Was great. My first wife and I watched it every night, and then I ended up working with him. But he came out, and his contract came up, and he came over to our station, which was at the time the Howard Stern guy talk, tits and ass, guy station, and they made him the morning man, and he was gay, and but he wasn't flamboyant. He was a dude. He liked sports, and he talked shit, and he was really, witty and all that guys. He was just a very interesting creature, and I always admired the shit out of him. And he said once, he's like, well, I just figured, I gotta be me. It was that time in America where it seemed like nobody was really caring anymore. And then he even became, remember, James, they switched to sports, and he was the morning guy on a sports station in Dallas, Texas. And everybody knew he was a gay man. And it just, he's out of the news now. I think he quit, but he was great. Nobody cared.
That's the times we're living in now. And I don't think the younger generation gives a rat's behind.
No, not at all.
About gay people or trans people or whatever the case may be.
But to the older generation, you're like the bearded lady. You're a freak show. Yeah. So it works. It works. It works all the way around. So let's go. Let's do it.
I think there's a number of us who would be classified in the older generation who are trying to go, you know what? This is a new world, and it's not my world anymore. I am no longer relevant. I'm a man in my 50s. If this is what's happening now, look, the easiest way to get old is to stop expecting or accepting what the next generation deems okay, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't have to like their music, but I'm not going to say it sucks because, if you have kids, you go through this, right? They play a song and you want to tell them it sucks. That's not Aerosmith. But you can't do that because that's the quickest route to becoming old. You got to go, yes. What do you like about this? Tell me what you like about my kid. My kid loves the baby. It's like his favorite. The baby.
Oh, I love the baby.
Yeah, well, my kid does too. And I'm like, oh, well, do you like it, Dad? Tell me what you like about it. Sell it to me. You got to have that attitude. And that's what I think a lot of people, like myself, a 52-year-old man who, we're seeing the world as it's changing. And instead of fighting it and going, no, we're going, all right, just give me a moment with it. Just give me a moment to wrap myself.
Well, that's cool. Well, I guess that's progress. The law really likes the baby too.
I don't know any of these people.
The baby gets in trouble a little bit. The baby killed a guy in Walmart.
Yeah, the baby's been in the jail before.
I thought the law was just, another hip hop performer. I didn't really pick up on that. All right, James, what do you say we transition effortlessly into what we like to do each and every day at the start of the show?
Wait, hang on. Stephen Ray says, what's the documentary? Do we have an answer for that even, Rebecca?
Yeah, it's going to be, it's called Being Becky, and it's going to be in a couple of film festivals coming up later this year. And then we'll see what happens after that happens. But it's a documentary. It's an hour and 10 minutes long, and it's just about me being trans and my life. And
we're gonna need to add about 20 minutes if you're really looking at international distribution. But I'm sure we could come up with that. We could come up with
Parker's in a big scene actually, and it's a really good scene.
I think we just did 10 minutes right here that could be inserted into the into the documentary. We'll get to that 90-minute mark for international distribution. That's we'll get there. All right, you want to do it, James?
Can I have the floor, please?
Oh, geez, can you have the floor? I suppose. Why not? Let's give James Parker the floor, right? All right. Okay. No. Here. There he is. Look at him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the Comfort Nest Lounge high atop the 1%er compound in beautiful downtown Highland Park, Texas. I am your master of ceremonies, Pugs Moran. Please welcome to the stage our nightly performer, the veteran of multiple cruise lines. He's played for all the crowned heads of Europe, James Big Boy Parker.
Thank you. Oh, good crowd. Good crowd. Lovely crowd tonight. The World Health Organization has confirmed 131 cases of monkeypox here in the United States. Symptoms of the disease include headaches, fatigue, and a craving for bananas.
Oh, God, I'm not ready. There you go.
The crowd's not ready yet. You make it seem like it's not real. New research shows that repeatedly telling lies desensitizes the brain to dishonesty, and the findings are based on a study of Amber Heard.
Look at that.
I hate the ricochet. Okay.
Ricochet, shut up.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp won the Republican primary in a landslide. Meanwhile, his general election opponent, Democrat Stacey Abrams, has weighed in at about 300 pounds.
Oh, my God.
It's the fat show.
He lost some weight.
Oh, is it 250 now? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Stacey. She doesn't watch the show anyway. Aerosmith singer Steven Tyler is back in rehab. This is his 5th time, which means one more punch on his reward card and his next one's free.
Look at that. There it goes.
All right. Steven Tyler back in rehab, and his prospects for recovery are excellent. He's in the same facility that straightened out Ric Flair. Lamar Odom? I don't know. I give up. Forget it. I take it back. Sorry. In Wisconsin, a 34-year-old female Spanish teacher was arrested for doing sex with a 17-year-old male student. The victim never even had a chance to say gracias.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Oh, we don't like child sex. Oh, aren't you better than me? Shut up. In Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, a 97-year-old man has finally received his high school diploma. Bad news is his teachers felt he was too old to have sex with. That's not even a child sex joke, and you still don't like it. According to TMZ, Caitlyn Jenner was not invited to Kourtney Kardashian's wedding. Even more shocking, neither was Pugs. Because you're the Kardashians' best friend.
I am. I'm Kim's best friend.
Okay.
I don't get along with the rest of them.
That's why the joke failed. According to a new study, flamingos form long-lasting friendships. Researchers found that most flamingos are sincere and genuine, although some are phony and plastic.
Flamingos. It's a big flamingo crowd.
The pro-flamingo crowd. Juan Vicente Mora, he's the world's oldest man. He's going to turn 113 tomorrow. That's assuming he makes it through the night.
Look at that.
Happy birthday to Stevie Nicks. I don't want to say she's getting old, but she has a new song called Edge of 117.
Oh, God. All right. They had to think about how they felt about Stevie Nicks. Oh, God.
Yeah, the crowd they don't just give out applause. Happy birthday also to Hank Williams Jr. I don't want to say he's getting old, but he and the band have a new song called All My Rowdy Friends Are Playing Bingo Tonight.
There you go.
There we go.
That's not a bad one.
They didn't have to think about that one.
That's not a bad one.
And Kevin Spacey's in trouble again. Did you hear about this one, Pugs?
I did.
Rebecca, did you hear about this? In England,
Yeah.
four counts of sexual assault against 3 men. The actors say he's innocent. He has hard evidence, though, that will stand up in court.
It's an erection joke. That's
all right. According to the National Enquirer, Kevin Spacey is a pervert, lowlife, and an alcoholic. Of course, you could say the same thing about Pug's mom.
No, you can't. But you just did. So what am I going to do about it?
Probably none of those. Yeah, it's just She's there. Mars and Jupiter are going to appear side by side Sunday morning. This is a rare astronomical event to see the planets. You just in the morning, just look east over the horizon, but you'll have to look south to see Uranus.
Knew that was coming. Anytime there's a planetary mention.
And finally, it was on this day in 1961, the first black light was sold. And today, the anniversary is going to be commemorated by the activist group Black Lives Matter.
Oh, boy. Okay.
That was on final.
Hi-yo!
Black Lives Matter. I donated to them, I think.
Good Lord, James. What was that, like 30 jokes tonight? That was a big one, dude. That was.
I get that a lot.
Jeff Bellard says Courtney has never really been okay with Caitlin's choice, so that's not surprising. I didn't know.
Is it a choice though? Rebecca, you're here. Is that a choice? What Caitlyn Jenner did? Is that a choice?
Well, I look. I don't have the trans manifesto,
right?
But I mean, we could choose not to do it, but we wouldn't be nearly as happy.
Yeah, no, it doesn't that suck being assumed spokesman for everything that all the other trans people do. Because when I hang out with like my black friends, or if I'm hanging out with like all Mexicans, they're like, "Hey, James, why do white people let dogs look them in the face?" I'm like, "What am I, the spokesman for white people? I think it's gross too."
That's another reason why I never told anybody during my radio career. I didn't want it to be the only thing I was known for, and I didn't want to have to be put in that position, because I did have a job with a little bit of notoriety where I would be a spokesperson for the whole trans world, and I can only speak for me. I can't speak for other people. So.
All right, let's James, Rebecca, I have a question for you. This is something that I saw. James, I don't know if you've got something, but I've got something really quick here that
Go ahead.
I just want to ask you guys about. All right, so I saw this earlier today. I want you to look at this. Okay, here you go. We seeing this?
You want to put that caption back up on the bottom?
We don't need the sound. We'll just watch this go and go again. All right, are we watching this?
Yeah.
Put the caption back up. What caption?
The thing that begs for tips.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's right. This show does exist on your generosity. It's how I make my living. So I appreciate it. Thank you, James, for bringing that back up.
Oh, okay, hey, you're my favorite charity case.
Do you see what we're looking at here?
Yeah, beautiful woman.
Is it?
Well, with absurdly large lips and.
No, you said, is it a beautiful woman?
It looks like a beautiful woman.
Okay, so Rebecca, what are we looking at here?
I'm starting to get the feeling it's not a beautiful woman now that you say that.
Well, she's attractive. I've noticed a lot of women whose top lips are bigger than their bottom lips, and I've never seen that.
That's not right. Yeah.
Until recently. But she looks like an attractive woman. But what are you going to tell us, Pugs?
Yeah.
That nose does not look real.
That is, in fact, Aubrey O'Day, formerly of Dana DeCane, former girlfriend of Don Jr., who went bad on him and started for Twitter likes and retweets, started telling all kinds of crazy stuff. It's basically the origin of the Coke boy, Don Jr. She was the one who first started all of that. She dated him for a couple of years. I personally, I'm at war with her, been at war with her since the 2006 Grammy Awards when she was a complete bitch during an interview. So I do not have any love for her.
You interviewed her on your radio show.
Oh, yeah. We had
well, you tell us that. I mean, don't let us assume it.
Well, I mean, yes, that you're right. You're absolutely right.
Is this a woman, though? Did I have that right? Or
it's Aubrey O'Day.
2022, bro. I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why I sort of framed it that way. Because she is so overly made up. She is so violently feminine, I would describe it. She is violently glamorous is another way you might want to describe it. But my question,
when your lips are that big, it looks like it hurts.
Okay, I'm glad that that's what you keyed in on. Because when I first saw this trending today, and by the way, this is not why it's trending. It's just trending because, I don't know, she's just an toxic narcissist who's, look at me. I personally do not find that wildly attractive. I think she looks phony. I think she looks like a plastic doll.
She
But
does. Look, there's no such thing as a nose that narrow. I mean, it looks like a popsicle stick turned
I mean, look,
sideways.
I like who I think I like Lily, the AT&T girl from the
Oh my
AT&T
God. Yeah, we
commercial.
go. Rebecca, your thoughts on Lily, the AT&T girl?
Lily rules.
Oh,
Yeah. It's as hot as they get.
her name is like Vanya
Mhm.
Takachev. She's like got some like really exotic Russian name in real life. And there are pictures of her out clubbing, and oh, she's so hot. She is. She doesn't look like Lily in real life, let me tell you. At any rate, I'm glad you keyed in on the lips, because is that a filter? Is she wearing big silly wax lips? Because to me, it looks like she's wearing big silly wax lips. However, they're not comically large to make it completely obvious. But those are some obscenely large lips, right?
Yeah, she's obviously got something in her top lip, because people's top lips just aren't that big.
But that doesn't, and that, like, I'm looking at her going, okay, she could be a pretty girl, except for those lips are like, she looks deformed. She looks like there is an issue going on here. I truly thought that we were looking at some filter. I thought it was like she was doing that on purpose. That was a filter or something. But Jeff likes Flo from Progressive.
Yeah, Flo's cool too. But if you put her next to Lily
Right.
from AT&T, I don't know.
But there's also the theory that which one do you have a better chance with?
No, that doesn't pertain to this conversation, because it's a fantasy, right? No, we don't have a shot with any of them. So
Hey, look, Rebecca, there's Angie.
it being a fantasy, why are you, James? You know what this is? This is the old Ginger versus Marianne conundrum, where people. Rebecca, let me ask you: Ginger or Marianne from Gilligan's Island?
I like them both.
All right, but you get one night with one of them. Which one you taking?
One night,
Yeah.
Ginger, a lifetime Marianne.
Okay, exactly. We're talking about a fantasy. Which one is hotter in a hotel room, for one night? Do you want the girl who works at Dairy Queen in Nebraska who's cute? Or do you want the international sex bomb? This is a fantasy. Why are you selling yourself short? I never understood the people who went with Marianne. I never understood that. You ain't getting them in real life. This is a fantasy. Why are you cheating yourself in your fantasy world?
Parker, our friend Angie just wrote on the board there in the room, AT&T girl Lily hates when you look at her boobs. That's why in the AT&T commercial, she always covers them up.
That's right. Yeah. Except for in the Christmas ads. James, when you were over here, remember, I pointed it out to you when she came on. I go, look, they got her in a tight sweater for Christmas. It's like, it must be the one exception that she allows in these commercials, because she wears the blue AT&T uniform shirt that is very tight, and she's probably got a sports bra or something underneath that doesn't accentuate her breasts at all. And honestly, maybe that's what AT&T's marketing and advertising thing wants. Maybe they want her to not be the sexual animal that she is in real life. But for Christmas, they put her in a tight sweater. And they let it.
Yeah, and she has incredible breasts. The AT&T girl. I mean, the phones are the second thing I think of when I think of AT&T now.
Yes. Hold on. Let's give an example of that. Oh, look, there's a whole thread. Lily from AT&T images. Of course.
Yeah. No, but the what Angie's bringing up, where she doesn't like it if you stare at her boobs, that was like an interview she did like a year or two ago, or there was maybe it's longer than that, but there was some interview she did where that was one of the complaints, and so there were howls on the internet. First off, people wanted to go check out her boobs, and secondly, people were like, "You're literally in showbiz, and look at all these pictures that you've taken. Look how you dress going to award shows. Look at how you dress on these Twitter photos. Look at how you dress on your Facebook photos. Look at how you dress on Instagram."
Before we even get into her breasts, look at her. She is gorgeous. This is like her just waking up in the morning. This is her. All right, there she. Look at her. She's adorable. Look at Lily. Look at Lily. She's adorable. Now she's getting a little glammed out. Let's see what we're talking about here. That's the tight sweater. Now she's doing a tight sweater. Now she's in a dress. There's got to be.
Is this a good time for me to get a refill? Because I need a refill.
Look at that, James. Look at that one right there.
That's marriage material. Just straight up.
She's amazing.
How crazy would she have to be for you to not marry her if she was interested?
Very crazy.
She'd have to be like at least a 9 on the crazy. Like she could do in my bed, like Amber Heard. Look at that. Oh, yeah.
That's a winner. Why isn't she a bigger star? I am worried that the AT&T commercials are going to stunt her career.
I'm starting to think why beautiful and look, she can. I imagine she has some acting chops. People like this that are this talented and this beautiful, they just won't sleep with the producer of the movie. They won't do the Harvey Weinstein thing. They won't play that game. And that's why some of these people who are obviously beautiful and movie star worthy, they don't make that jump.
Just look at that.
Yeah, like a Drew Barrymore does. This girl's hotter than Drew Barrymore ever was.
This girl's way hotter than Drew Barrymore. This girl could be a top 20 hottest girls in Hollywood right now. But she just plays it down because she's gorgeous. She plays girl next door. That's what they want. Come on. I could look at pictures of, look at that. Look at her out in the club with her girls. And by girls, I mean her breasts. Look at that. That is crazy. Oh, that's not her. Yeah, okay. So I got to get off this because, I'm getting a little hot and bothered there, Rebecca. Hey, even as a trans woman, Rebecca, you're still in touch with your biological orientation, and you can appreciate Lily.
Lily's fantastic. She absolutely rules. You see who died today? Speaking of someone who wasn't a bigger star,
who?
The actor Ray Liotta died, and he's most known for playing Henry Hill in the movie Goodfellas, and that was way back in 1990, and he was young, and you would have thought that would have launched him into an incredible career. But it really didn't. He was in Field of Dreams. He played Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, he wasn't in anything huge like that we talk about, like Goodfellas. And
well, I disagree a little bit. I mean, he had Ray Liotta's a big star, not an A-list star, certainly not towards the end of his life. I mean, he did a lot of he cashed in. He did that thing that a lot of guys, he did that thing that Bruce Willis, we learned recently why Bruce Willis has made 40 consecutive straight-to-video movies. Same with Nick Cage, because they get paid a lot of money to be the only name in the movie that has nobody else. The budget for the movie is $5 million, and they give Ray Liotta $2 million of it. And he's like, all right, I'm not going to win any Oscars. But he had a career, he had a very good career. Something Wild. Did you ever see Something Wild, the Jonathan Demme movie?
Yeah, he was in a few other things that were all right. But you would have thought after playing Henry Hill in one of the greatest movies ever made, Goodfellas, you would have thought that would have launched him into superstardom.
And I would argue that it did for a year or two. And then, it's hard to maintain that level. I mean, he was in Copland, which was a very big movie when it came out.
Yes, and that was a very good movie.
He did a lot of things. But you're
right.
So
what did he die of? Was it like cancer, heart attack? Do we know?
He died in his sleep. No, he was filming a movie. He was in the Dominican Republic. And he wasn't looking at baseball players for Major League Baseball teams.
Right.
He was filming a movie, and he just didn't wake up this morning, and he died.
Rebecca. That's why it's important for you to be healthy and happy and do whatever it is that you want to do with your life, because there are no guarantees that when we go to bed every evening that we're going to wake up the next day. Just be happy.
And somebody came on. I don't know if it was Jeff and came on late and said, "Hey, did you talk about the date last night?" We talked about it in the beginning. Go back and listen to the first 20 minutes or so.
Yeah,
that was fun.
James, thoughts on Ray Liotta? The passing of Ray Liotta tonight.
Ray Liotta is one of these guys that made a few movies and had enough money that he never really had to go pursue anything greater. So while from our point of view, we're like, he could have had like the greatest career, or he could have been like a A-lister for the last 30 years or whatever. I think I would kind of do what he did. If I have enough money to coast, my ass is coasting. I'm hanging out with my kids. I'm working on my hobbies. I'm playing with my friends. I'm taking trips. I got a hot wife. We're going to do cool things, spend a lot of time with family. And, like, not that I'm some sort of saint, but I am kind of lazy. And so if you take the financial incentive away from me, watch the kind of bum that I turn into.
Do you want to hear a funny story about the hot wife? Because he did have a hot wife. He had a very hot wife.
Why is this in past tense? Oh, because he's dead.
Because he's dead. Ray Liotta was married to Michelle Grace Liotta, who okay, so this is a big story because of Chicago, because that's where I'm from. Ray Liotta stole Mark Grace, first baseman of the Chicago Cubs and Major League Baseball broadcasters.
Yeah, I think I had his rated rookie card.
Stole his wife, Michelle Grace, and she ran off with Ray Liotta after, I believe the story is, like Cal Ripken was like a big like baseball guy, and he was always hanging out with baseball people. And not Cal Ripken, Kevin Costner. You know what I mean? The Kevin Costner's like, oh, actually, this is, you know what I'm doing? I'm mixing.
Because he made all those baseball movies. That's why. And those were great movies.
Right. Okay, wait, let me, please. Because now I'm remembering another incredible Cal Ripken story. So Cal Ripken, for those of you who aren't baseball freaks like me, he was on the verge of breaking the consecutive game streak, the Iron Man streak that had stood for years and years. He never missed a game, freaking Cal Ripken. And then, okay, so here's the story. This goes back to, I want to say, the mid-90s. There was a blackout at Camden Yards in Baltimore where the game was supposed to start at 7:10. And, oh, look at this. At 7:09, all the power in the stadium goes out. And the game is delayed for 2 hours. The game is delayed for 2 hours because, as the story goes, Cal Ripken Jr.'s wife was having an affair with Kevin Costner, and Cal Ripken wasn't at the game. He was confronting Kevin Costner. So the Baltimore Orioles said, delay the game. His consecutive game streak will be broken if we don't do something to cancel this game. So they pulled the power. But it was through Kevin Costner again that Ray Liotta was introduced to Mark Grace's wife, Michelle Grace, and Michelle Grace dumped Mark Grace and ran off with Ray Liotta, Goodfellas guy. So
yeah, they're divorced now.
Are they? Yeah, this is going back 20 years. I imagine it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, Ray Liotta was with his fiance, who was 20 years younger than him. But I always wondered why he didn't become bigger. I mean, he was Henry Hill.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. I mean, if we wanted to do if we wanted to do a Ray Liotta draft, obviously, I think in the first round we'd all agree Goodfellas, right? You take Goodfellas.
Without a doubt.
With the second pick in the Ray Liotta draft, I would take Field of Dreams.
Yeah, absolutely.
His portrayal of Shoeless Joe Jackson. And not only that, but the way, look, okay, I'm going to become a film nerd for a second here. Everyone knows I'm a big White Sox fan, that they're my team. Now, the way that Ray Liotta chose to play Shoeless Joe Jackson was so incredible. When he came out of that cornfield, there was a sense of complete confusion on the part of Ray Liotta. He chose not specifically, and I've read White Sox books about this. I'm actually in the process of writing my own book about the White Sox, but there's a great story about how Ray Liotta made the choice to not, because, people, did Shoeless Joe cheat? Was he a bad guy? Was he a good guy? In the context of this film, is he supposed to be a good guy or a bad guy? He's a ghost. So Ray Liotta played that role the entire time, trying not to give any hints as to what he actually was as it pertains to the team, the Black Sox scandal. So he played it confused at all times. And when you watch that movie and that story, you're like, oh, look at him. He's not selling out Joe Jackson at all. He's not letting people, because a lot of people think Joe Jackson banned for life from baseball for being one of the White Sox who were, accused of throwing the World Series. And just the way he played that role, there was such subtlety to it. There was such nuance and respect for the person, the real person of Joe Jackson, not to say, here we are 70 years later, and I'm going to portray you as a dirtbag who probably did cheat. He played this very innocent, confused, it was just great. Anyway.
I thought Field of Dreams was one of the greatest movies ever made. I really did.
I liked Field of Dreams. I think it's a little overrated. It doesn't even make my top 10 baseball films. And I'm a baseball freak, but I just think it's not enough about baseball. It's a little bit too much about let's have a catch, which is nice. That's nice, but don't call it a baseball movie. I would go. All right. So here's Ray Liotta's. He did Goodfellas. He followed that up with Article 99, which was a major release, not a particularly memorable film, but definitely a major release. Unlawful Entry. That was another big Hollywood movie that came out. Wasn't critically acclaimed necessarily, or a major.
I didn't see that one.
It was a big movie. No Escape was another big movie. Operation Dumbo Drop in 1995. Unforgettable in 1996. Copland in 97.
That's a really good movie.
I love Copland. Yeah, Copland is such an underrated movie.
It really is.
So good about dirty cops in New Jersey.
Yep.
And then it started to get a little weird for Ray Liotta. He did Muppets in Space, in 99, which is, he did a movie called Rumor of Angels. But then in 2001, he did both Hannibal and Blow, which were big movies. And he
was barely in Blow, but he was great in Hannibal.
He was great in Blow as
Johnny Depp. Blow was a great movie. Yeah, he played the young Johnny Depp's father, I think, in Blow. Yeah. Blow is true story, Blow. That's a true story.
Yeah.
And after I bought the DVD way back in the day, one of my buddies who was watching it with me decided to write the character Johnny Depp played, decided to write him a letter because he was in jail in Massachusetts. And he wrote back to him, and they became pen pal friends. They would write letters back and forth to each other.
Interestingly enough, and James knows this, I am broadcasting from the guest house of someone who was very close friends with George Young back when all of that was going on.
We don't know anything about that at all. We know nothing. They've never told me anything. I don't know where any drops are. I know nothing.
You don't know anything about E? You haven't heard the stories?
You don't either. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And so do you. The stories are great. He wants to write it. He wants it to be a book. He looks at, George Young being glamorized by Johnny Depp, and he goes, why not me? And I say, yeah, you're damn right.
Statute of limitations, Emil. That's why.
Yeah, well. All right. So after that, everything started to fall apart. He did, actually, not entirely. I mean, he did Blow and Hannibal. And then 2002, he did John Q, which was a big movie, although he wasn't the star. He played the chief of police in that. Slow Burn, Even Money, Take the Lead, Local Color, Comeback Season, Smoking Aces, and then Wild Hogs. He had a big role.
He was funny in Wild Hogs, but he wasn't in it much.
Well, yeah, right. He wasn't a star. That's true. Let's see. Moving into the last number.
That was a dumb movie, by the way.
He was in Date Night.
Did I see Date Night? What was Date Night?
Steve Carell and a bunch of middle-aged people. They go out on a date night and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I remember the promos for it, though.
Yeah. You know what? You might be onto something, Rebecca. He did not do a whole lot post 2010. I mean, he did a lot, but nothing that we know of. Half of these movies do not even have Wikipedia links. So
yeah, like when I'm going through this, I don't recognize hardly any of this crap that he did after 2000. So he was busy. He didn't have like a boring career. He just was on.
He was busy.
Lame projects.
He made 4 or 5 movies a year every year, and that's what I said. That's why he did the Bruce Willis, Val Kilmer thing, where you accept these roles in these garbage straight-to-video films that have $5 million budgets because you're the only name in it, and they give you $2 million of that $5 million. And then what do you care? You're just banking money. It's a good gig. He's big in the Muppet universe. He's done a couple of Muppet films. He did Muppets in Space, and now he did Muppets Most Wanted.
Probably good money.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Not a lot of work.
What did he do recently? Cocaine Bear. is a movie that's in post-production right now. Are you familiar with Cocaine Bear? We talked about it on the
Is
High
that the
Noon
Charlie Day one?
Show. No, that's no.
Because on his
Day,
Wikipedia page, it says there's a Charlie Day movie that just got finished that he's in.
Untitled Charlie Day film. But no, Cocaine Bear is an upcoming American thrill. Seriously, tell me you're not all in on Cocaine Bear. Okay?
Well, it already sounds promising. I like bears and cocaine.
That's incredible. Cocaine Bear is an upcoming American thriller film directed and produced by Elizabeth Banks and written by Jimmy Warden. It stars Kerry Russell, Osage Jackson Jr., Ray Liotta, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Margot Martindale. Anything Margot Martindale is in is awesome. And let's see. It is inspired by the true story. This is a true story. It is inspired by the true story of an American black bear that ingested a duffel bag full of cocaine in 1985.
That's great.
And they have to hunt the cocaine bear, and the bear's. You know
you're laughing, Parker. You wouldn't be if that was your coke.
I wouldn't be if that was my bear.
Here's the premise. All right, here's a simple little premise. Tell me this isn't going to be one of the greatest movie posters of all time.
Yeah.
Premise. In a Georgia forest in 1985, an American black bear goes on a murderous rampage after ingesting a staggering amount of cocaine.
This has to be a good movie.
Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear.
If you can't get 90 minutes out of that premise, get out of the movie business, because that's great.
Right?
Kill yourself.
So, okay, we love you, Ray Liotta. That's very sad. But also, we had another death today, another big one. This one hurt me. When I saw this at about 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, one of the original Depeche Mode guys.
Andy Fletcher.
And he's only like 60, right?
He wasn't old.
So what are we talking, OD here? Or AIDS
I don't know. I didn't see that. I just saw that it started to trending, and I saw that Andy Fletcher had died, and I started to cry for my college years. It was just not cool. God, Depeche Mode was great. Hold on. Look, if you put AN into Google, Andy Fletcher comes up right away. That's how many people have done
That's how big Depeche Mode.
Yeah, and Depeche Mode was one of those groups that was like, oh man, I love Depeche Mode. And your friend goes, they're gay. And it's like, well, of course they're gay, but I still love them. They're like, yeah, me too.
What does that matter?
Well, because it was like, fine. And I love your music. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care how flamboyant you are or how obvious it is. You're still cool, and I can't fight it.
But it also should be Andy Fletcher wasn't gay. He was
Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode was gay.
Well, Depeche Mode was two guys. It was Andy and
Dave Gahan.
David Gahan. Yeah. Okay.
So he wasn't gay?
No.
Fletcher I thought both of them were.
Fletcher married his longtime girlfriend, Grain, on January 16th, 1993. The couple has 2 children.
So just the music was gay.
The music wasn't gay. The music was awesome. I think.
Well, I know it was awesome, but it was the same thing. It was kind of like Little Richard. It's like, look, we all know you're gay, but your music's so awesome that no one's going to give you any crap, even though it's 1959 or whatever.
He died of natural causes. Made a series of bad investments in the 90s that led to a number of financial settlements involving Lloyd's of London.
Yikes.
He had deep depression. And in the summer of 94, he had a full nervous breakdown. Fletcher died from natural causes at his home. How do you die of natural causes at 60 years old? I guess there is more to come.
An aneurysm?
Yeah, there you go. Hold on, let me pull up. So Andy Fletcher and Vince Clarke were the guys who started Depeche Mode. Vince Clarke is very gay. Vince Clarke is from Erasure. That's the group with Andy Bell. Yeah. I don't want to. Very similar to Depeche Mode. So maybe that's why you're. Actually, is Vince Clarke gay? I know Andy was. Hold on. Now I got to find out if Vince Clarke is gay.
Right. Leslie says Dave's not gay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think Depeche Mode was gay. You said that and I kind of went with it because I'm like you. I'm like, it's kind of gay music.
So the guy who sings Your Own Personal Jesus is not gay.
No, he was a heroin addict, Dave Gahan, but he's not gay.
Yeah, and Vince Clarke, Vince Clarke and Andy Fletcher founded Depeche Mode. Vince Clarke left Depeche Mode to form Erasure with the very gay Andy Bell, who was the lead singer of Erasure. So I think a lot of people just assumed that Vince Clarke was gay because in 1985, You're hanging out with a gay dude, you know? I mean, it's sort of gay by association, right? That's how we thought back then.
Hey, James Garcia, you must be new. It definitely does not matter if he was gay. It
No, it doesn't
No,
matter.
no one,
It's
no
just
one cares. It's like whether or not he had blonde hair or brown hair. No one
no.
cares.
It's just interesting. It's just interesting because, as James pointed out, James and I just had a moment with James where he goes, he was gay, and I just went along with it because it
was kind of assumed,
it
right?
was music that was embraced by the gay community first. And I think that's probably, and then they went mainstream, you know.
Well, then also, how much time have we spent in the gay bars on Oak Lawn and Cedar Springs where Depeche Mode's a pretty big player?
Yeah, huge in the gay community.
Yeah.
Huge, massive. So I think that maybe that's why we thought, you know, Depeche Mode, Pet Shop Boys, and Erasure. You know, that's
gay, right? I would assume, you know, throw in a little Karma Chameleon, and we've got ourselves hitting for cycle.
It's your holy trinity of 1990s gay bars. You know, that's what it is right there. So, you know, we would assume, but he wasn't. He specifically was not gay. All right. No, apparently, I'm learning here that nobody in Depeche Mode was gay, except for
James. I'm James, and I'm that James.
There you go.
I'm the James that had to go to Oak Lawn to give away tickets, wearing my drawers. Hey, James, go to the gay neighborhood and give away tickets to like Shakira or whatever it was.
Well, we thought you were a nice piece of gay bait back then. You know,
it worked, man. I got a lot of attention. It worked. It was great.
You were smooth, you know, clean.
I appreciated the compliments, right?
Why not? Absolutely. Anybody finds you attractive, use that.
Yeah, especially at 45.
To build upon your ego.
Yeah.
All right. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us again. James?
Well, hey, I had fun. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Welcome back.
James is going to do his thing now where he's going to disappear when I turn around.
Wait, Rebecca, what is that behind you? Like in the background? Behind you?
There's just things on the wall.
See what he did to you? Do you see? That's why I didn't turn around, because I knew what he told you to turn around, and now he's gone. Rebecca, thank you. Come back anytime, okay?
Thanks, Pugs. He's such a wise guy.
There she goes. That's Rebecca. All right. Look at my guy, long-haired James. Talk about somebody you miss. Long-haired James, good dude, hanging out in the chat room with us. All right. Tip the show, folks. That's how we do this thing, right? If you want to tip us, you got a Venmo option there. PayPal's a little difficult, but go ahead if you need to. I'm not, any port in a storm. Cash App, you can help us out there as well. I'll be doing a show tomorrow, high noon. If you were listening to today's high noon show, you know that it was a pretty emotional show. It was a pretty heavy show. I was thinking maybe I would take some time off here now that we've got a big holiday weekend coming. I get to go spend it with my kid, my boy. We'll be out on the lake. We're going to be jet skiing. We're going to be boating. We'll be wakeboarding. It's going to be fun. Won't be doing a show on Monday, but I will do a high noon show tomorrow. High noon right here, same place, same time. So stop by if you can. We'd love to see you. You can hear all past shows. You can hear today's show. You can hear last night's show. You can find all that stuff at pugscast.com. That's your little one-stop cheat. So you don't have to go through all the YouTube bullshit. Because apparently there's a lot of people with dogs that have YouTube channels. So sometimes it's hard to find me. So just go to pugscast.com. That'll bring you directly to the YouTube page that has everything. We do 2 shows a day. We do the noon show, high noon. That's topics. That's trends. That's current events. That's pop culture. That's everything you need to know about your day. And then at 9 o'clock, we do this. We call this Pillow Talk. It's me and Parker every Monday through Thursday evening. We do a little bit of talking. Skipped. We have a little more conversational than the noon show is. Ooh. It's been a week. It has been a week. Appreciate you. Love. There you go. Tip the show. I know I say that. I know I push that. I push the tipping of the show here at the end of the month, but you know what that's about. All right. Love you, folks. See you tomorrow at noon. Be well. Sleep well. We'll catch you tomorrow at noon.